So I just got done doing a webinar talking about the 3 psychological principles that make a woman hooked on you. And if you're watching this, it's possible that you were on that webinar. If not, you didn't hear about it, that means you're not on my newsletter. So I have a little gift for you, which is going to be very much related to today's video. And that gift for you is a free video called Chick Crack, which is about the topics of conversation that women love. So go get that in the description below so you can learn more about how to be able to talk in an interesting way so that women want to continue conversation with you. But here's the good news. You might be thinking, I'd love to know the topics of conversation, but still, what if conversation stales out? What if I don't know how to continue from there? What am I supposed to do? So what I want to do for you today is I want to diagram what a conversation looks like, just in general, like what a normal conversation looks like, which is going to help you to be able to continue conversation with the girls that you meet. Let's do this. Okay, so let's imagine here that you are bringing up a topic of conversation, okay? Specifically, you're going to be using one from the free video called Chick Crack, and I'll give away one of those right now. One of those topics of conversation that women love to talk about are astrology. Yes, astrology. So let's write astrology. Now you might ask a girl what her sign is, or you might just guess what it is, right? So you might talk about her sign, which let's say is a Taurus. Or she might say something to you like, you know what, I'm actually not into signs at all, and that is not something I talk about. So let's say astrology didn't work out, so we go over here, and it's no signs. I've done some research here. We do know that women really do like to talk about this, but of course, it's just a generalization. Some girls don't, which is right here. That's okay. I'm teaching you the basis of conversation here. It doesn't matter which way you go in conversation. What matters is how you continue it. So let's continue here. Let's pretend that we're talking about Taurus, right? So you might not know anything about Taurus, so then you'll go and say, what's Taurus? What's a Taurus like? What are some of the implications of being a Taurus, or what are some of the qualities of being a Taurus, okay? So putting Taurus question mark here because you might not know what it is. But what if you do know about Taurus? What if you know, oh, Taurus, well that's someone who's very stubborn, which I'm kind of guessing, by the way, I don't really remember, okay? Now let's keep going down this path, right? So you ask her what Taurus is like and she might say, we're very hardworking, hard work. Now let's go the other route, right? She says stubborn. Well, now we can go, okay, you can ask her a question, say, when have you been stubborn? Or you can comment on something about you. So stubborn, you can say, oh, that's me. And then you can tell her a story about how you've been stubborn. Again, I'm going off of her not even asking you any questions. So imagine if she joins in the conversation and is able to give you some sort of feedback or say something else or ask you a question, then it's even easier to go off. So let's just pretend that she never even asks you a question. You can still use this. So what I'm saying is no matter what happens, you can always continue conversation. So let's go now again down this route. So she says hard worker. You can say either something about you, or you say something like, oh, well, I'm a hard worker. So you tell her when you've been a hard worker. By the way, I'm making this all up on the spot, and I've been prepping for this. I'm just going off of something that's coming up to me, coming in my head. Or you can ask her a question, right? Ask her a question about when she's been such a hard worker, right? When has she been such a hard worker? All right, now let's move over here. So let's pretend that this whole section right here, right? Easy peasy, she's a Taurus. You can go on and talk about that, whether you know about Taurus or not. But what if, for some reason, this topic of conversation, which I've told you is a great topic of conversation to talk to women about, just doesn't pan out? And she's like, oh, I don't believe in astrology, no science. And you can say, why? Or anything else you come up with, but I'm coming up with why. So you say, oh, why? Why don't you believe in signs? And maybe you agree, maybe you don't believe in them either, right? So then we got a me too here. Me too. And then you go off and you talk about why you don't believe in it, or why she doesn't believe in it, right? And then taking it further, you know, if she's not interested in this conversation, you want to go somewhere else. You want to take it somewhere else. So you want to tell another story or go off of this conversation. So maybe you say something else that you are interested in, but they're not signs. So what is something that you're interested in, right? So now you can put here interest, something that you're really into, because you're not really into signs. Here's the best part, is that you do not have to think about this too logically. You can always switch topics of conversation anytime you want. You never have to stick to astrology. You never have to go off of this. But I know for you as a beginner, might be more difficult, so you need to think a little bit more logically. But just know that you can switch topics anytime. And yes, I'm writing this out for you to let you know that you can always do that. You can always switch topics and always talk about whatever you want, because whatever is interesting to you is going to be interesting in conversation, and then you can get conversation headed to the point where you guys have been talking long enough where you can enter in more flirting, right? And eventually then get her number. So you can see how that kind of all works together. So it's not just about conversation topics, but eventually going from convo to flirting, asking her out. 1, 2, 3. All right, if that made sense, write a comment down below and let me know if that helped you. Say, Trip, this helps. I want to see a lot of comments down below that say, Trip, this helps. So write that down below. Don't forget to get the topics of conversation that women love, which I call Chick Crack, and that link is in the description down below this video. I'll see you on the next one.